Now we're out here standing, you know, in salute of this sister, Yasmine James, who courageously defended herself and, you know, unbeknownst to her, was defending the black community when she, you know, boldly defended herself after this white man attacked her, assaulted her, tried to snatch her over the counter. And, you know, there's this, there's multiple messages that try to cloud what the real contradiction is. People say it's a male problem, it's a male violence problem, a women problem, but our problem, the issue that African woman experienced is as a result of being colonized. And that white man is a colonizer. He functions as a colonizer within the black community. And what he did was an act of colonial violence against black women. We're here to stand in support of this sister and the entire black community who has a right to self-defense, a right to defend ourselves against regular, everyday, plainclothes white people, against the police that come into our communities that brutalize us and murder us on a daily basis, against, you know, white corporations and merchants that come into our community, exploit and extract all the resources of our community. It is our community's right to defend ourselves by any means necessary, because our community is under siege, under colonial lockdown, and we are on attack every single day. And Yasmine, the only thing about Yasmine that was different was that it was caught on camera, but this is the reality of black women every single day. It's the reality of black men and black children. Our children are being harassed and brutalized in these schools, you know, on these school campuses, and black men in these communities being harassed, pulled over, riding on bicycles, and all these different kinds of things, thrown into prison. That is our struggle every single day. Well, you know, McDonald's is a capitalist corporation, and they do what all capitalist corporations do when they're, you know, exploiting the labor of black workers. And I mean, there's no policies that protect black workers in these institutions, because these institutions, they work black people to death. So they have no interest in protecting black people, and every person that works here is replaceable to McDonald's, is replaceable to Walmart. Like, that's the situation that we're confronted with. So in terms of what McDonald's did, there's no surprise about how McDonald's would treat their workers and how they would still serve this white man who just assaulted a black woman. And, you know, it's totally unacceptable. It's deplorable how they would regard this black woman who was just attacked and, you know, still intend to serve this white man. But it's no surprise this is what we deal with on a daily basis. You know, we live in the U.S. in a country based on genocide and enslavement of African people. The fact of the matter is, Yasmine James wouldn't be working at a McDonald's. I wouldn't be here right now and having to support and defend the rights of the black community to defend themselves if it wasn't for colonialism, if it wasn't for white people, Europeans coming over to Africa and this land, murdering and slaughtering indigenous people and snatching up African people from Africa and dispersing them around the world. So that's colonialism. And white people, if there's a colonized nation, if there's a colonized population, then there has to be a colonizer. There has to be somebody who is enacting this kind of violence and, you know, who benefits from that system. And white people are the colonizers. So it's not a matter of opinion. This white person is on this land as a result of genocide, theft, slavery, and rape. And they exist here. They get to go to a McDonald's drunk and snatch up a black woman because of that relationship that they have with African people. So let's do it. And we're saying we're going to fight for Yasmine James. We're going to fight for the black community. We're going to be like King MLK Day. We're going to take back MLK Day. And we're going to take the black community back for ourselves. We're going to be a self-determining, independent people. And we don't need the city to tell us how to do it. Demanding a refund and the firing of James while also calling her names. He is eventually escorted out of the store, but then returns to yell at the workers before kicking another African woman worker. He was eventually arrested and charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor assault and held on a $1,000 bond. And that's the kind of, you know, this is the kind of, you know, charges that they give young teenagers out here, 16, 17 years old, who, you know, have to sell a gram of weed to be able to make a means of income for themselves. And this white guy gets absolutely nothing for assaulting this African woman, kicking another African woman on his way out of the store.
Over a straw.
Over a straw.
We can build our own gardens. We can educate our own children.
Right.
We can police our own neighborhoods.
Yes.
So you have nothing. He said it right. He prophesied his own destiny. I cannot control you. Guess what, white people? You cannot control us. We stand in liberation, and we welcome those who stand with us. And this is not a feminist cry. This is not a feminist demand, but this is a demand from the souls of every black woman that has stood, as my sister said, and fought against colonialism. We have been lending our titties to your babies too long. Woo! We take our breasts back.
Uhuru.
We have been washing your babies behind too long, but we take our washcloths back and we wash our way to liberation.
Uhuru.
So I say today that we stand and we'll fight our way to liberation. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Fist up, fight back.
With the African National Women's Organization and with Yasmine James and the black community as a whole, and to say that we are utterly and absolutely opposed to what happened, to the act of white violence carried out by Daniel Taylor against that African woman in this McDonald's, and that we completely back and celebrate the resistance exemplified by Yasmine James when she fought back so heroically, and that we understand that what the white guy who went into this McDonald's did is not something unusual in the history of the United States or of white people. In fact, white people, white men and white women, committing acts of violence against black people, African people, throughout American history from its inception has been as popular and as American as McDonald's itself. And white people lynched African people, thousands of black bodies hanged from trees throughout this country.
Talk about it.
As thousands of white people gathered, including in this city in 1914, when over 1,000 white people lynched and murdered John Evans, an African man, and hanged him from a light post near where the Tropicana field now sits. That is the history. That was the legacy of that white violence that stepped into this McDonald's expecting to do as we have always done, to unite with our ruling class and commit violence in order to step on the pedestal of oppression of African people and gain more resources for ourselves. In case you didn't know, Rick Kreisman and the city government recently made it illegal for restaurants to have straws on the counter because he's a great environmentalist when he's not pouring millions of gallons of sewage all over the city. He is banning plastic straws, so he's saving the environment. So this white guy goes into McDonald's and says, I want a straw, and because of that law, Yasmine James says, we're not allowed to put straws out anymore. And instead of going to City Hall and grabbing Rick Kreisman by his shirt across his desk, he grabbed this African woman, and he got what he deserved